My hair just looks red, doesn't it? It's orange. It's not red. Don't you wanna have fun? Fool around someone. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamika, and today I am doing a part 2 to a video that everyone seemed to love on my channel, and that was my toxic romance recommendations. And not only is this a part 2 to that video and a continuation in the taboo and dark romance collab series that I did over this last kind of week, but it kind of got stretched out into not a week, but it's not the point, we won't talk about that. It's also a collab with Cheyenne from the Tall Book Girl. If you're not familiar with Cheyenne, she is the cutest bean in the whole world. And have you seen her tattoos? I don't feel like I need to say any more than that, because I mean, you all know as well as I do that me complimenting your tattoos is like the highest privilege I can give you. So I'm just messing around. You all know that I really like her. She is a sweet bean and she is absolutely precious. So make sure you go check her video out down in the description. And thank you so much, Cheyenne, for doing this collab with me. I'm so happy that everyone who decided to participated in this week. So let's just go ahead and hop into some toxic romance recommendations so that you can get mine and then go grab hers. Let's get one out of the way really quick, okay? The Never King. I know you all saw this coming. I'm kind of obsessed with the series. I absolutely love the series. I've read the entirety of it, except for the last book, but we won't talk about that. I knew you all knew this was coming because there's never gonna be a time where I'm gonna try to not talk about the Never King. So yeah, we have the Never King, and we also have the second book, which is the dark one, and we also have Their Vicious Darling. So there are 3 books out right now. There are 4 books in the series. This is a Peter Pan retelling, and it is also a portal fantasy. This is such a hyped book. Everyone loves this, and for good reason. This is literally following our main character, whose name is Winnie Darling. It's not like I said Wendy, it's Winnie Darling. This is following our main character, Winnie Darling. She is one of the Darling women, and every generation on the woman's 18th birthday, the Darling women, Peter Pan comes to take them and brings them back. And when they all return, they are mentally ill. They go crazy essentially because their brain gets scrambled while they're there. And Winnie does not want to go with Peter Pan because he's trying to find his shadow, and she just does not want to become a shell of herself like her mother did and her grandmother and all of the Darling women before her. So this is a why choose romance between her, Peter Pan, 2 of the brothers, like 2 twins. They're brothers obviously because they're twins, and another character who is my absolute favorite. Are we shocked by that? Because you shouldn't be. And it is just a spicy good time. This is literally touch her and you die. He literally rips someone's heart from their chest. Like they touch her and he's like, no fucking way you're gonna live. The second book in the series has primal play. It is so good. I highly recommend the series. If you've not checked it out, I seriously recommend that you go do that because it is fantastic and it is 100% worth picking up. Let's also talk about Malice, which is a dark romance that I don't talk about a ton, but I do actually want to reread this. I read this last year, and this is a very, very dark romance where we have a character who there's dubious consent in the beginning of this. Not exactly consensual, but also not super, like not non-con necessarily. And we have a girl who is taken captive and she has to have a relationship with this guy she's not super interested in. And it's not necessarily that she's not super interested in him. It's more of the situation is not what she wants and she is forced into the situation. He's very overprotective. And the reason this one is like super toxic, and the reason I recommend this one, not only because there is, you know, the forced aspect and she's not really wanting to be there. He's a bad dude. Like a really, 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 really bad dude. There are red rooms in his house where he kills people on the dark web. Like, they live stream it. So yeah, when I'm saying it's dark, I mean, baby, it's dark. Dark book. Just know that going in. If that remotely bothers you, I would not necessarily go forward. I would kind of just back away, because this is one of the ones where I'm like, that's really dark. I don't know if you know this or not. I love dark. I like it as dark as you can make it, just about. Just go in there with a warning that this is a very dark book. but they are toxic. They do not need to be together. Another that I am absolutely obsessed with right now, and that is Hate Me by AJ. This is a bully romance between a stepbrother and a stepsister. Just know when I tell you that these two people should absolutely never be together. Never. They should never be together. He is so cruel to her. Like, absolutely torments the shit out of this girl, but he cannot stay away from her, and it's his stepsister. So it's just like, why are you tormenting her so much? Like, you have to be around her, but like, they should not be together. He is absolutely terrible. Like, he is a twisted dude. In this one, we have a girl who goes to this school, and she is like not super popular because she's picked on by this guy, and her father ends up dying, and at his funeral her mother ends up starting to have a situationship with this dude's dad, the dude that's been bullying her, and they form a relationship, they get married, and lo and behold, they're step siblings, and this guy continues to torment her no matter what. It also has touch her and you die vibes. It also is, he's so obsessed with her, he cannot stand the idea of anyone else touching her, but he also doesn't want her, but he does. If that makes sense. It's like I shouldn't want you, and I don't want you, but I want you. Those are the vibes, and I loved it. More toxic, Tris 6 Venom by Penelope Douglas. You all know, as well as I do, that Penelope Douglas writes some really toxic characters. Like, literally, when I think of toxic relationships and I'm like really feeling the toxicity, I really want a relationship that is going to push me and be like, you know, maybe I shouldn't be rooting for these two to get together, and maybe I should rethink my entire like idea here, right? Tris 6 Venom. How do I describe this book for you other than, one, it's gay, it's a bully romance, and these two are beyond bad to each other. Now, are they bad to each other the entire time? Not really, but in the beginning, it is extremely toxic. They do not hold back. They are cruel to each other, they pull pranks on each other, they bully each other, they belittle each other. They are constantly going back and forth, and it is a situation of, I hate you because I can't be you, and it is just fighting sexual tension on top of sexual tension. There are so many things that I could say about Tris 6 Venom, and I won't because I don't want to spoil things, but when I tell you that this book just is the definition of two very toxic characters, and Penelope Douglas in general writes such toxic relationships that I love so very much that I just don't even know how to handle myself. So go read it if you want. I obviously recommend it. The last two books that I want to talk about are a duet, and I did get the arc of the second book. So the second book comes out on the 13th, so in about 2 weeks. And the first book in this series is not a romance. Let me be very, very, very clear about that right now, because I don't want anyone going into this and then being like, Tamika, this was not a romance. No, the first book is not. The first book is an erotic horror. The second book in the series is a dark romance. So, just getting that out of the way, we have Wings of a Butterfly and Heart of a Killer. Here's what I can tell you. Serial killer, captive. We have our heroine who ends up being taken captive by this serial killer. He ends up trapping her in this house away from everyone. She has no contact with anybody. Her best friend is searching for her. She has longed for her best friend. She thinks she is a lesbian, and she ends up having a relationship with this guy, and she is attracted to him, and she doesn't understand, and it is dubious consent in the beginning. That was Dallas hitting the tripod, obviously, but it was dubious consent in the beginning, and it becomes a consensual situation, but she is still fighting to escape. So no matter the fact that she cannot deny their sexual attraction to each other, their chemistry, the fact that she wants more with him, she also is in fight or flight mode, which, I mean, granted, if you were kidnapped by a serial killer, I'd also be in flight or fight mode, so I mean, it makes sense. In the second book, it takes place in an asylum, and it is a female male. So it is a throuple. And I will give you a hint. The main character from the first book is with the serial killer in both books. So they do get a happily ever after. It is the start of a romance. So just know that going in, unless you read this back to back, you're not getting a romance in that first book. You're gonna see the developing relationship, but you're not gonna get like that satisfying happily ever after until the second book. Just know that going in. I just need to warn you, this is messed up. It does have one of my, usually it's a hard limit, but this does have one of my tropes I don't typically like in it. It's not the cheating trope, but it is a trope I don't typically like. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I probably should tell you what it is. If you wanna know what that trope is, message me and I'll tell you. It's erotic horror, so like expect whatever you think you can expect in this book, because it's gonna be in there. It is brutal. It is disgusting. It is taboo, not tame in the slightest. Yeah, they are toxic, absolutely not good for each other. They should not be together. Legally, physically, emotionally, they should not be together. Should not be together. So just know that going in. So those are all of my toxic romance recommendations. These couples are not good to each other, so just know that going in. If you want something toxic, you want books that should not be happening, check these out. I think you'll like them. Also, make sure to go check out Cheyenne's video. I am so excited to watch it myself and see what books she picked. If you're still here, leave me a pumpkin because my hair is orange now. It kind of looks a little red, but it is orange. So leave me a pumpkin emoji down in the comments for Halloween. I will see y'all in my next one.
Don't you wanna have fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Yeah, these babies said that they don't got a future like